Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Canad, your tribute to pop culture. I am Jeremy Colley.
And I'm Jack Doherty.
And returning to the show today, good friend of the show, who is a bartender and social media influencer who makes cocktails and shots influenced by popular video games and video game characters. You know him best as the gaming mixologist. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome back Frankie Francis to the show. Frankie, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thank you so much for having me again. It's good to do this again, Jeremy. It's awesome.
You know, it's a long time coming because we've set this up a few times since you were last on. When was that? Early 2023, I believe. So it's almost been 2 years. And
Jesus.
Yeah.
I've been definitely wanting to do this again with you guys. I mean, when I was first starting out, I mean, Canad was one of the first places that really like, let's get this guy on and like actually kind of believed in what I was doing. So, and you guys had just had James Rolfe on like a couple weeks before I was on, so it was a huge honor for me to be like, you know what, I'm cheers to you guys. I really do appreciate it. So,
hey man, we appreciate you being here, and I mean what we say. You know, you got good content. I love getting videos from you, and you keep them coming too, man. Like, how many do you do like one or two a day or something like that?
It depends on my schedule, honestly. I mean, I've been this year. I've tried to focus on, especially in the last few months, I've given myself like actual designated hours where I'm trying to treat content creation as a part-time job because it kind of is now.
Absolutely.
So to give myself like designated hours, I'm gonna shoot some content on these days at these times, and shit happens. Like I said, I'm a single dad of 2 kids, and I also work full-time and I bartend full-time, obviously, but things come up. But it's been challenging, but things have been really paying off this year, so it's been awesome.
Yeah, you've got a ton of followers and attention. I mean, it just keeps climbing, it looks like. So very excited to talk more about that. I definitely have more questions for you, but before we do, we're going to be spending the first half of the episode talking about some of our favorite drinking scenes from TV and film. So I'm excited to see what you guys have. I've got a few picks I don't think anybody's going to have. At least I hope not, but we shall see. And
same with me.
Yeah. And next time you come on, Frankie, we're going to have to really put our heads together to think of a third drinking-related topic here because I'm going to be pressed. I guess it doesn't have to be drinking, but, I try to keep a theme. So
it works. Yeah, it works that way.
It's not a bad theme. It's not a bad theme. So.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it. So anyway, you can check us out on our socials shown on the screen here above me and on our website right here. I guess we'll go into more detail about it at the end of the episode, but not at the front. We want to get right to it. So, Jack, why don't you kick us off with your first pick for favorite drinking scene in TV and film?
All right, so my first one is from American Pie.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to have to remind me. It's been a minute.
So I can't remember exactly which part it was in the movie, but one of the kids were, getting busy with their girlfriend in the bedroom to where they climaxed, and the only way they could, keep everything clean was doing a can or in a solo cup of beer. And you remember a good old Stifler coming in and grabbing that glass of beer and taking a big swig out of it.
Oh, dude.
But it's just
wrong.
Just I mean, Stifler was such a cocksucker anyway. Just a good little bit of karma coming back on him in that way worked real well. And just the look on his face after he swallowed was kind of priceless. Not that he probably knew what it was, but knew that there was probably something strange in that beer.
I mean, I would think that once it hit the back of your, oh my God, I don't even want to talk about this. I would imagine a person would know.
Well, you might know that you wouldn't know what it was. Because more than likely it's gone. Totally. You took a big
no matter what it is, it's too fucking late at that point.
Yeah.
You're at the point, and
there was something in that. And then your mind just destroys you after thinking of what it could have been.
It has been a minute since I've thought about the American Pie movies, so I enjoyed them. I'm not that familiar with that scene. It's been a long time since I saw the first American Pie. So was that in the first movie or was that in the sequels? Or
no, that was the first one. Yep.
Was it? I was thinking it was the second one. But see, like Frankie, it's been so long since I've seen them, I can't remember. And it's funny when I have seen a clip of the film. like on YouTube or something, it's funny to me how dated it looks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those guys all look so small. I mean, so young from that
And
back then.
clean and
Yeah.
like pretty and fucking vibrant with youth. I mean, Jesus. Especially Tara Reid now, man.
Oh God, yeah. She looks like a little old lady now.
I
She
know.
looks horrible. Poor thing.
Well,
Is
you know
anybody
what?
from those movies like still kind of like significant nowadays? I mean, because I haven't seen Jason Biggs in anything in forever, and Stifler's always famous for being Stifler.
Yeah, the only other thing I remember him being in, and I know he's been in more, is Old School. I know he had a cameo in Old School.
Yeah.
Stifler did.
I always enjoyed
Biggs.
Evolution. He was in. It was like it's a script that I supposedly like was directed by Ivan Reitman. It was supposed to be like it initially started as being a potential Ghostbusters 3 idea, but it's about like an asteroid comes to Earth and this new alien race like starts to replicate. They start as like single cell organisms, they become like large organisms. But Stifler is in that too, and that's actually a fairly fun kind of nerdy science movie.
Is that
David,
a
David
somewhat
Duchovny.
new film? Is that like within the last few years?
No, it came out in like I want to say like around that American Pie time frame. So I want to say like in the early 2000s. David Duchovny is in it.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
or what was his name? He was the Make Seven Up Yours commercial guy, Orlando
Oh, yeah, he was
Jones.
on Mad TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it Orlando Jones or Orlando Jordan? I know one of them was a wrestler. I don't know which one is.
I can't
Yeah,
recall. I don't remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I want to say it was Jones, but I'm not sure.
I think you're right, Joe. I mean, either way, that was fairly entertaining movie. And I know Stifler was in that, so
Do we know what Stifler's real name is by chance?
Sean William
Sean,
Scott.
that's it.
Sean William
There's
Scott.
something that I think he's getting ready to be in
That's what I was just
now.
looking up because I swear to God, in the past year, I've seen a trailer of something that he was in. Was it like maybe a space movie? Like
It might have been because I thought he didn't get canceled, but I think he kind of quit Hollywood for a little bit because I think he was
he knew he was about to get canceled.
typecasted or something like. Yeah, really. But then, yeah, it was just recently there was something that he was supposed to be going to be in, or
It looks like see, there's 3 films: Shifting Gears, Dolly, and Bad Man that say are in post-production. The most recently released was a movie called Jackpot, which only got 5.8 stars. Yeah, sporadic stuff here and there. Was he the other dude in Dude's Where's My Car?
Yep.
yes, yep,
Thought so. Wow, that takes me back.
that was like the 2000s era Bill and Ted.
They tried.
Yeah, they
Lame Bill
Yeah.
and Ted. But anyway, good pick, I think. I mean, it got us talking. I don't like
Yep.
where it started, but I like where it ended. But all right, Frankie, let's jump over to you, man.
All right. So to me, probably the most memorable bar scene for me is my first pick. So when you mentioned this topic, this is what popped up first. So I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan.
Son of a bitch!
Yeah,
I think you got mine, man.
Duh, no, Jeff, where I'm going. So yeah, it's that bar scene in Inglorious Bastards. It's just
Yeah.
that scene is so like well done because you're on the edge of your seat the entire time. But what's so cool about that scene, and I'll do my best not to give any spoilers away, is that you're in this scene with these characters that you don't really know. Like, they're not that like some of their names, but no one's been like it's not like it's a scene with Brad Pitt the entire time.
Right.
It's not like it's a scene with Christoph Waltz, who won an Oscar for the movie. You've got these kind of lower level characters who you don't know much about, and for 90% of the scene, and the scene goes on for like 40 minutes, they're not even speaking English. It's all in German and French, and you're just on the edge of your seat as this is like gets as the tension starts to build. And so and of course he orders 3 glasses when he's supposed to order 3 glasses. So it just, that scene always stands out to me. I mean, that's my favorite Tarantino movie, and he's with the exception of True Romance. I mean, True Romance he didn't direct, but like for his written and directed stuff, Bastards is my absolute favorite Tarantino flick, and that scene is just nail biting.
It is so good. I was just watching that movie the other night, and God's honest truth, ever since I've watched that scene, Anytime I have to say 3 to anyone, it's always like that. It's all just in fucking case.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a
Well,
good
so
film.
the German 3 has
Yeah,
the
it's
thumb.
3. It's a
It's the
thumb.
it's the thumbs.
Oh,
It's
is
the
it?
thumb, which I've
I
never done in my
swore in
life.
that film he did this. I swore.
Isn't that what he does in the film? He does that, but he should have done that, or does
No, he
What
does
was it this?
this
Was it this
in the
3? Okay.
film.
he did the
And
first 3 fingers, and then he did the German 3 is the thumb out. So,
Yeah.
and that's what ultimately, well,
I'm
we'll
still
do the spoiler
doing it
right
wrong.
now. It's
I'm
what
still
Did you-
doing it
ultimately
wrong.
goes.
Did you catch that when you first saw it? Was
Nope.
that something that you didn't see?
Nope.
For me, I was in the military and I was in Germany for 3 years, so I knew that. And right as soon as he said he wants 3 glasses, I was like, "You're done." I knew he was caught right then.
And the only people in the scene the people in the scene that did catch it was what the hell's his name? Colonel Hellstrom, the German guy, and then Bridget von Hammersmark caught it too. She knew right away. She's just like, you see the look on her face, like you just see her face get pale and like the wind go out of her sails. Like she just knew, like he just blew their cover. So
Yep.
yeah,
So good, man. I cannot believe I got my pick taken. It's all right.
It was the first thing that popped in my head for that, though. Yeah.
So
It's such a good movie,
Quentin
though.
Tarantino, son of a bitch.
It's so good. It is
Yeah.
so good. Damn, that makes me want to watch it again.
Just to give you a heads up, Jack, I do have another Tarantino movie in my list here. So
Okay.
I'll let you know that one. Not Basterds, different movie. So
Wow, good pick. Let me see. My first pick is going to have to be where to begin. Let's go with Star Wars Episode 2. When Obi-Wan and Anakin are chasing the changeling or whatever through the sky, and then the crash lands and they run into a bar. And Obi-Wan tells Anakin to get to work while he bellies up and orders drinks.
I thought that was funny. That was really funny.
Yeah.
When he did
It
that.
was, but at the same time, like, what if Anakin came into some shit? Like it just seems like Jedi HR would really want to know about that shit.
He's just going to go get drinks. Well, I got to go do all the work.
It's just something that never sat with me. I'm like, you're a Jedi, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like I think of the Jedis as like monks, kind of like, right? I mean, I don't see monks sitting there. Well, maybe they do drink. I don't know anything about monks either. I don't know what's happening.
But that's what makes the scene funny, is that you've kind of got to know, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi is this very distinguished, like, older Jedi. But again, you're seeing him as he's younger, so he's like, you go do this, and he goes, what are you gonna do? Go for a drink. Like, he's just young and be like, why not? So
Because you're on the clock, bro. You're protecting the queen.
I always like that scene, though. That scene always made me laugh when he did that. So plus is the Death Six guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I always hated that line that he was going to go home and rethink his life or something. Something about that. It just seemed too like, I don't, in current stuff. It didn't seem like it was a galaxy far, far away fairy tale kind of line for some reason for me.
I hate that they were just called simply Death Sticks. It was
Maybe that's what it was. It was just such a stupid name.
Yeah, it was pretty corny. I understand why, though, because I mean, what else are you going to call them? I don't know. I with him holding him in his fingers like that, I think no matter what you call them, you'd get the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's maybe be a little more inventive than Death Sticks. I don't know.
Maybe it's because Death Sticks I refer to as like those juggling sticks that you see hippies do, like out in the middle
of fire
somewhere.
And shit.
Yeah, maybe that's why it just was like.
Is that what they call those?
I've heard them called that before. I don't know why. Maybe because if they're on fire.
Is this in Germany?
No, I don't know where that was.
I mean, they could have been a slang term for. They could have used the slang term. Oh, you want to buy some lightsabers, like something different, just to sneak up to the Jedi and offer him, like, the instead of calling it death, they call it lightsabers. Like, these are lightsabers. Like, you don't want to sell me those. Yeah. You can still get the same point across, but it wasn't as bad as like a Saturday morning cartoon like PSA. So it was fine.
It wasn't Nancy Reagan intense, but it got the point there.
Oh, remember those?
Yeah, boy, weren't they everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, like GI Joe would do stuff like that, and there'd be that very special episode of like on Saturday mornings, and like Saved by the Bell and things like that. I posted recently the Super Mario Brothers Super Show one, which is with so Captain Lou Albano comes on, who played Mario in the
Yeah.
show, and
Right.
he's being himself. He's dressed as Mario, but he's telling don't use drugs, talk to somebody, blah blah. But then right as it's about to end, he drops this line, and I quote. He says, and if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Like literally,
No
like, literally
shit.
says that.
Are you
can find,
serious?
yeah, just literally look up Super Mario PSA on YouTube, and you will find it. So I mean, I posted recently because I remember seeing being like, holy shit.
If I can find I'll find that and see if I can clip it in here.
I'm Captain Lou Albano talking to you about drugs. Kids, don't be afraid to say no. Anyone that asks you to use drugs is not your friend. Drugs can and will kill. Remember, don't be afraid to turn to your priest, your rabbi, your minister, your moms, your dads, your teachers, because drugs can kill. And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Please.
You remember that show? Because I don't remember seeing that on the show back in the day, but I just saw that clip very recently for the first time. So, but
Wow.
it's shocking and hilarious. Like you really just think that, especially given the source. I mean, it's Captain Lou Albano. I mean, Captain Lou did some drugs back in the 80s. I'm telling you. So.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
Any wrestling fan's gonna know that with that elastic around the beard and the stuff hanging from his cheek, like just
Yeah.
I mean, I was a huge wrestling fan growing up, so.
Now, speaking of him, I was kind of upset to find that he's not really Cyndi Lauper's father, because I always thought that was not just because of the video. I had always heard that.
Well, she was like heavily involved with like the WWF for their like early 80s for a stint, right? Like where they were trying to like bring the female wrestlers in and stuff. Like she was like the rep or something of the I just learned a lot of this from the Mr. McMahon
Right. That's where I
documentary. I'm not going to say I remember this because I don't. I was too young at that point, but did you watch that, Frankie?
I remember a lot of it. I haven't seen the whole Mr. McMahon documentary. I saw the first episode. From what I saw, I mean, it was pretty in depth. But yeah, they try to get Cyndi Lauper to get more kind of mainstream exposure. So by having one of the biggest stars in music on your show at Madison Square Garden, that's what they did. Yeah. Bad news as well, Jack. The Undertaker and Kane are not really brothers in real life. So I hate being the bearer.
I had no idea that was.
I hate being the bearer of bad news
or nothing. I barely even know who Kane is. I just know the mask.
Yeah. It's a cool mask, though.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Oh my God, that was funny. Okay. Whose pick was that? That was
that was yours. Yours in Star Wars.
Oh, that was mine. I'm sorry. Then we are back to Jack.
I'll piggyback off of yours in Star Wars with the sail barge. Something about
in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, something just the get up that R2 had with the trays on his shoulders, and then he had a tap built into the top of his head. I always thought that was kind of cool, and I mean, functionally it works, I guess. But I mean, you think he would have kind of Inspector Gadgeted, having hands reaching up for the cups, but actually having the tap on top of his head was kind of neat.
Can you imagine? And you could totally do this, because how many cons have we been to? In the past 10 years where you see people with remote control R2D2s, like it's totally doable to make an R2 unit that has a fucking keg in it, that has that tray on it. And like, if you wanted a Star Wars themed wedding, like have this little fucker in a bow tie, just like going around serving drinks. How cool would that be?
I would love that.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Copyright Canad. No one do that at their weddings or I'm coming for you. But
of course, Star Wars have to have a little bit of that. Can't look like an R2 unit for real either.
Why not?
Well, not with the copyright of having to.
Well, we're not selling the wedding. It's just for our own. Oh, you mean, I see, selling the service, you mean?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, go for it, people. What am I going to do? I can't afford that.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that, Jack?
No, that was really it.
All right, let's hear what Frankie's other Tarantino pick is.
So with my Tarantino one, I was gonna go with Jackrabbit Slims, but that's like more of like it's more like a restaurant than it is a full bar scene. So I would go instead with the Titty Twister from Dusk Till Dawn, which
I
is
don't
the
re-
bar. It's the bar. In Mexico. So in From Dusk Till Dawn, George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, the Gecko brothers, they're trying to get to Mexico. They finally get there and they meet at this bar called the Titty Twister.
Okay, I didn't realize that was the name of the bar.
Yeah, that's what it's called. You're like, what the hell is this pervert getting at? So, but yeah, so they once they're there, it's revealed that this is a giant, place that is infested with vampires, which is a big twist, which is kind of like the bigger twist in the movie. Like, and it's funny when you watch that movie is that I've watched it many times, been like, okay, is there any clues that there are vampires coming? And there's literally none. I can
There's
see.
nothing. Not that I can remember. Yeah.
Yeah. But everything from like, George Clooney getting the bottle of tequila at the table, and then, Salma Hayek's dance, and then it all erupts into the big, gore fest that comes afterwards with the vampires revealing themselves. And, that just always stood out to me.
I need to watch this movie. I think you talked about that film last time you were on too.
You've never seen it?
No. And I'll be quite fucking honest. It wasn't until right now that I realized it was a vampire movie. I just thought it was like a Western kind of a film. I had no idea. It just
starts
the
out-
title From Dusk Till Dawn sounds very like showdown in the street kind of, but I get it now.
Yeah, it has that kind of like, like Old West kind of like sounding title, and then it just sounds like a cool Tarantino like crime film. And it's like, okay, where does this go? And then just, when the vampires show up, there's just no. It's like it's like watching a completely different movie with the exact same characters you've been with the entire time. So it's almost like two movies in one. So I mean, I recommend it. Sorry, I just gave a big twist away for you, Jeremy.
No. I mean, Christ, how long have I had? And again, I didn't even realize that was a Tarantino film.
He wrote it. He did not direct it. So he wrote it, and Robert Rodriguez ended up directing it. So
yeah,
who directed Desperado? He directed Sin City. Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Those two are always together. Seems like Tarantino and Rodriguez.
They're good friends. I mean, do you remember back when they did the Grindhouse double feature where Tarantino put out Death Proof, and he went to go see that? You also got to see Rodriguez's new movie, which is Planet Terror. It's like a kind of a cool zombie flick.
No, I missed a lot of that. Damn it.
What a weird role for old Clooney to be in From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's my favorite role he's ever done, still to this day. Like, just
what year was that?
1996, I think.
Probably, I think it was probably somewhere around there. Yeah,
right around there.
So he just would have been like starting to rise at that point, because like ER was what really started to propel him, wasn't it?
I think it was. Well, yeah, during ER, I think he was, or maybe right after he had left it.
I think he was still, it's one of his earlier films. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure the ER was still going pretty strong and he was still on it.
Wow.
I think that's why he was in it, because of his popularity on ER.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's what's really, because he had been on TV before that, just in like background roles and stuff. Remember, I think we talked about before, he was
on Roseanne.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was Roseanne's sister's boyfriend, Booker.
He was in that TGIF show called Baby Talk, where Tony Danza was the talking baby. Hey, I'm a baby.
Was he?
Yeah, and he was the super in the building that they lived in.
He was also in another show called ER.
Mullet. Yeah. Mullet. What'd you say? What show was he in?
Another TV show called ER that was on in the 80s.
Seriously?
Yeah, there was another one back then. I remember seeing that.
Huh. Well, no wonder he got the job for the second one. I've done this before. All right. That brings us to me, right? Okay. Yep. So my next pick is going to be a movie called Very Bad Things. Have you guys ever seen this film?
No, never seen it.
Have I? I don't know if I have.
Like the early 90s. It's has a bunch of people in it. Jon Favreau's in it. Daniel Stern, who's Marv from Home Alone, Cameron Diaz. And essentially what it is one of these guys is getting married. It's a dark, dark comedy. And they all go to Vegas and they get a hotel room. They're just partying. They're drinking. They're doing all kinds of drugs. And they get a hooker. And spoiler alert if you decide you want to watch this movie, but where things go off the rail is while they're all fucked up and with this hooker, a guy has this hooker in the bathroom, and he's holding her and kissing her, and they're like all over the place. Well, he like puts her against the wall, slams her against the wall, and a coat hanger, like a
Yes.
coat hook, goes into the back of her head and immediately kills her. She's just hanging by her head, dead. And the
Yeah.
rest of the movie is these guys, one trying to get rid of the body, but then their nerves get the better of them, and they start thinking that the other person, their other friends, are going to tell on them. And that throughout the movie, they start killing each other off. It's very dark, but it's very funny. It's very bad things.
Very bad things.
I don't know if
I'll look for it. I'll look for it.
I don't know if I've seen all of it. I know that scene though with the shower hook going through the back of her head.
You see it once and you never forget it. I mean, it's one of the most unique. I mean, not that it's like overly creative, but you've never seen anything like it. I mean, because when he slams her against it and she's already dead, he doesn't realize it first.
Right.
So, but anyway, that's a scene that always comes to mind. But I tried to look it up on YouTube because it's been so long since I've seen it. I just wanted to be sure that I remembered the scene correctly, and I could not find it. But I'm almost positive there was a lot of booze and a lot of drugs involved in that scene. So that's why I picked it.
I like it.
Yeah, I really won some people over here with that pick.
No, I'm curious about the movie, so I've never heard of it. So there's some of those really kind of fun movies in the '90s that just had this huge cast. Like, oh my god, all these people are in this. You know, it's kind of how I discovered Tarantino's True Romance that he wrote and had Tony Scott direct. I mean, it's got Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, a pre-Sopranos James Gandolfini, Samuel L. Jackson, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, Christopher Walken, Dennis Hopper, and it's like, how have I not heard of this movie? So I love movies that have like this ensemble cast that like most of them, but it's still kind of obscure for some reason. So I want to check out Very Bad Things. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's on streaming. I doubt it. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. It's something I've never seen on streaming. Not that I've gone looking for it, but you just never hear people talk about it. I mean, it is an old film, and I understand why people may not like it. But it's one of those movies where you're just kind of biting the inside of your cheek while you're laughing. Like you don't know if you should be disturbed or how disturbed you should be, if you're allowed to laugh, if it's cool to laugh here. So
I love situations like that, though. That's what makes them funny. Is that you can see just kind of how twisted your sense of humor is, and how twisted if you're watching with a group of people, like how twisted your friend's sense of humor are.
Yeah. Well, this movie's a great barometer then.
Perfect.
All right. So
I'm sold on it. I want to check it out.
Yeah. Please, when you do, let me know. I'd love to know what your opinion is of it.
Sure.
Looks like it's on Prime, but only to rent or buy.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll rent.
This is where the physical media people are all screaming in unison. This is why you buy DVDs.
Right.
This is why I buy DVDs, because because DVDs are fairly cheap, especially for older movies. So you'll end up spending $6 or $7 on the DVD. That's literally streaming a movie twice. Like it pays for itself that way, but it's yours. And I also like to own my stuff. Like this is my copy. Excuse me, this is my copy of this movie. So like I own the movie or I own the game. You just don't get that with stream. Plus, like who knows? Like, I mean, doubtful that it'll happen in our lifetime, but let's say you bought it on Amazon like for $20, whatever, and then somehow, some way Amazon goes belly up.
Yeah.
Where's your movie?
Well, that's it. Yeah, just it. And when like Deadpool, I've bought a few DVDs within the past month, which is very untypical of me, but there are just certain movies that I have to have on DVD. And when Deadpool and Wolverine came out digitally, it was expensive. It might still be. I'm not sure what it is, but it was like $24.99.
It's $20 now. They dropped it down to 20.
But I just thought for that cost, like that's still pricey. So I just went to Walmart and bought the 4K Blu-ray, which all those movies now come with a digital copy too. Like that's a great deal. Like why do that when I can get the DVD practically for free? You know what I mean?
Shit, I didn't think about that, because you can probably put the digital copy on Fandango, which is where I have all my movies digitally anyway.
It's not Fandango, unfortunately, because that's really what I thought too. I've got movies on Fandango as well, and I thought the same thing. I can add it to that collection. It's on, what's this app called? It just says Movies Anywhere. But whatever. You know, it's still an app I can pull up. I found the app on the TV, so I can watch it on TV without having to find a DVD player and hook it up. I don't have a DVD player readily hooked up. I'm getting old, I guess. I think we're losing Frankie's here.
I'm right here. You've lost me, not at all.
All right.
I just knocked something over, so.
Is it serious? Do you need to tend to it, or?
Nope, I'm not. I'm good. No, I'm just good. It was a little small thing, so I want to try to set it up. So I'm sitting at my bar where I shoot a lot of my content. So I just wanted to.
I recognize that background. I
just
definitely.
I just want to make sure it's something that wasn't going to spill. So fortunately, we're good. So.
Excuse me. Yeah, I definitely recognize that background for sure. But do we have any other picks we need to get off our shoulders before we move on?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good, Joe.
Cool. Well, I think those are some good picks. I thought I had great ones, but I don't think I did. At least I didn't bring them to the table in a great way. My presentation wasn't great. Maybe I need to work on my presentation. Anyway, Frankie, let's turn it over to you, man. Let's talk a little bit about the Gaming Mixologist, you and your channel, which we did back in early 2023, episode 478. If people want to check that one out, because that was a great episode as well. You know, we talked then about kind of who you are, where the Gaming Mixologist originated. But for the people who are just checking in for the first time, can you explain to them?
Yeah, so I've worked as a bartender for about 15 years now. I've been a gamer my entire life, and it was just about combining work with play. That's really how it all started. So I was at work one day, and it was still this is in like 2022, so we still had like some of those like lingering like COVID restrictions that bars and restaurants had at that time. Mm-hmm. So we could only have so many people like physically in the restaurant, sitting at the bar, spaces between or whatever. So I was just starting to just try to work on some new cocktails, and I remember the drink I was working on, I'll never forget this, was I was doing a twist on a drink called a Pearl Harbor, and I wanted to do like a raspberry flavored one. So normally a Pearl Harbor drink is vodka, melon liqueur, or Midori with pineapple juice. So I was doing like a martini version of that, but I wanted to use a raspberry vodka and have some raspberries like as a garnish. So as I poured the drink in a martini glass, I got the raspberries ready, and through, just fate or whatever, I end up dropping the raspberries into the drink, and they didn't stick on the toothpick like I wanted to. And the way they were floating, the red raspberries in this green drink, I'm like, that kind of looks like a Metroid from the Metroid video game series. And so I just thought, Metroid Martini. There's a video game inspired cocktail. So I started just kind of like just messing around, trying to come up with more stuff. And so I came up with like, 3 or 4 other drinks that day that were all kind of like video game themed. I remember I did a twist on like a gin gimlet that had this thyme syrup, like the spice thyme. And so I called it Ocarina of Time, THYME. And like I said, I came up with like 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 cocktails a day. And that's kind of like, there's something here with that. And that's how it all started. So I initially started just doing like strictly like video game inspired cocktails, and then to kind of just have like more content to put out there, because nowadays it's like you need to have something fresh almost daily, sometimes multiple times a day, because of just this insatiable urge that everybody has with social media to just always have something new. So I would do like little things about like old video game tips you'd find Nintendo Power. And I do a video game cocktail again. And nowadays I still do the cocktails. But nowadays I just try to focus on more like bartending stories. So to let people know at the end of the day that what I do is bartending content, and not just video game content. It's just bartending content with a video game theme to it. And so I've been just doing more of the kind of bartending skits, and you still see me with the nice black dress shirt, but a video game style tie, whether it's like the NES controller tie I have, or a Pac-Man tie, or a Donkey Kong tie. And I've just been running with that, and it's going to be in January is going to be 3 years since I actually started it. So I started in what was it? I started in January of 2022 was when I put my first video out. It was on TikTok, and I was just called Fanboy Frankie back then. I eventually changed the name because I wanted like something that would encapsulate what I did in my name. So even if you had never seen my content before, you would see the name and know, okay, I get it. I like that, or I don't like that. And so I went with gaming mixologist because I think the gaming bartender was my first choice, but that was taken by somebody else, and I didn't want to like get into like an issue with that with this person.
Sure.
So I looked up gaming mixologist on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, Google, and there was nothing. So I'm like, all right, let's do that. I'm still going through the process of trying to trademark the name. It's taken longer than I thought it would. There's just been a couple hiccups along the way with getting that happening. So, but
Yeah.
that's how it all started, and it's been growing huge. Especially this year has been a huge year. I had some goals this year, and I'm happy to say that I achieved, I think, all of them. I mean, my goal was I wanted to be able to put out some consistently good content, build a good following, and be able to create a stream of part-time income. I have like some merch, like I have shot glasses I sell on a Shopify website. I've got some other merch I'm working on. Like I'm wearing I'm wearing a game mixologist hat that a friend of mine made for me. My friend Maria made me this hat, and then or ordered this hat for me on some website. But I've got some test products for like other t-shirts and stuff coming soon, hopefully the next year. So it's 2024 has been a very good year for me for content creation and just achieving, just side hustle goals.
Yeah. Well, congrats, man. That's great
Thank
to
you.
hear. And
Thank
I've
you.
definitely noticed that hat. Can't wait to see those t-shirts. Please let us know when those come available. I want to get one of those shot glasses. I was actually going to ask you about those. Because what a perfect what a perfect thing for you to be selling. I mean, Jesus. And your name too. I wish
I
we
was
would have
just
thought about that too when we started, because people aren't looking at Canned Air and be like, "Oh, a pop culture podcast." Oh,
right.
it's not
I was gonna
happening.
say the gaming bartender just sounds. I don't know. The
I like
mixologist
it.
puts way better ring to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it rolls
Yeah,
off the
and
tongue
and
better.
it's funny because like I didn't really like the term mixologist. I thought it was honestly a little douchey, and but it's grown on me. It's grown on me after a while, being like, okay, it works. I mean, it's not just bartending. Like there is a lot of like craft to the cocktails that I make. With some, I'll be making my own syrups in my own house to use for a video. I'll post recipes on how I actually made those syrups. So whether it's brown sugar cinnamon or something that combines like a fruit and herb to it, I'll post those videos so it'll show people how to make it. So I don't make it too complicated. I mean, I don't need to turn into like a cooking show or anything like that because I'm not the best cook. But
That's a great idea though. Not to put more work on your plate though, but like to see like episodes. Like I'd love to see how you craft an episode of a show where you essentially bring what you're doing on your TikTok to like I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minute. I don't know. I'm just thinking here, but that would be so cool. Not that you're
I love the idea, and I've done stuff with that like on a live. So if I go live on TikTok or I go live Instagram, I'll actually make a drink in real time there. Having it as a regular video again with the way that it's still the short videos is what really kind of helps you grow a lot. But the algorithms have changed over the last couple of years with especially with TikTok, is that
Mhm.
TikTok has changed its monetization policy. So the only time you're really getting paid for your videos on TikTok is if you have a certain amount of followers. I think it's 10,000 to actually get monetized. But they're only paying you for video views if your video is longer than 60 seconds, which is challenging in this kind of day and age of instant gratification. So
yeah.
and that's where the skits have really kind of helped. So if I do like a lot of like kind of shorter skits that are all like 10 seconds each, doing a quick little, here's an interaction with this one bar guest, okay, now here's another interaction with another guest, it's something completely different but still has the same kind of theme to it. Like recently I had a video that I did where it's just kind of just some of the dumb questions that like restaurant guests will have asked me over the years. Like literally someone will ask you how many wings are in your dozen wings, stupid shit like that. And I just
Oh,
combined a lot of those just kind of rapid fire, like dumb question, my smart ass response, and now we're on to the next one, and just to kind of stretch that video out to over a minute. And that video did really well on Instagram. It's getting, that video itself is getting close to 3 million views right now.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
TikTok is around, there's a lot of comments on it, but it's not nearly that. I think it's around like 100,000, which is still fantastic. I'm not knocking that. So, but But yeah, that takes a little bit more time because now with almost 3 years under my belt, like I can make a drink video fairly quickly. I mean, I can usually shoot the video, edit it, add music, add sounds to it, or like, little graphics. I can usually get that done for a standard drink video in usually about an hour. If I'm appearing in the video and I have any like rehearsed lines I'm doing, like if I'm talking to the camera, if I'm talking to about what I'm doing, it'll take longer because I'll need to do multiple takes. But I've got the drink videos down to a science nowadays about how to get them out efficiently. The skits take longer. They're definitely more popular, but they are more time consuming. So I can't just shoot like, 4 or 5 of those in a day. I can maybe shoot 1 or 2 because I'll be doing like, I'll be playing different characters where I'll be doing costume changes. Got to make sure that my lights are looking good for what I'm wearing, wearing. Cause a lot of the characters kind of like disguise the fact like, okay, it's not supposed to be me. I'll wear like different kinds of sunglasses to say, okay, it's not just me talking to myself. It's an actual interaction between the bartender and this bar patron.
Right.
But like I said, it's been the reception for those has been really positive. Like a lot of my good friends who've known me for years are like, you're putting out some great shit lately, so keep it up. And that's always reassuring to hear.
I would agree because I think when we last had you on, it was you hadn't begun bringing in those like different things, those different skits, or like your bartender interaction stuff. So there's a large variety of stuff coming through on your channel. And I'm so jealous of your consistency. Jesus, I dream of it, but like it's a lot of work. I don't know how you find time.
It's insane how hard of work it is to do that content stuff.
It really is, and
it's challenging. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, like to actually now there is some part-time income from it. It's motivating to actually do it. But again, I'm a human being, and I'm kind of a one-man show. Like I've done collaborations with people here and there. I did some work with Purely Boston last year. Some other people I've met on various social media platforms. Like I did like a combination video with my friend A-List Alverson, who you can find on Instagram and TikTok. He does like mostly like wrestling kind of content. I did something with this guy called Sam, the Toxic Bartender. Just kind of combine stuff and try to just grow. And also by working with these, like they're kind of like smaller pages than me, it's going to help them get an audience as well. Because one of the reasons why I was really clamoring to do another podcast with you guys, that you were one of the first people who actually like wanted me as a guest on your show, and I gotta greatly appreciate that. But you gave me a shot, and when you're first starting out and you're trying to come up with, like, you're trying to be creative, you want somebody who's going to just give you that little push. And I like to say I do that for a good amount of people, to say like, listen, like you've got some good shit here. Let's help get it out there. I laughed at it. I'm entertained by it. Let's help you gain more of an audience. And it's just me trying to just give back to people who did that for me. Like you guys gave me a shot. You were the first podcast I ever did. So
are you serious? Cool. The first?
When I started the whole game Mixologist stuff, yeah. I mean, I'd been on I had a friend that did a podcast on video games like years and years ago before I did any content creation, but Canad was the first podcast I did, and I've done several others since then. But I have a certain loyalty to you, Jeremy. So to be
oh man,
to be able to do this again. So again, and like I said, and you guys had me on like, I don't know, 3 weeks after you had one of my biggest inspirations, James Rolfe on your show. So it's like that was huge. So yeah, I'm grateful to you. So thank you.
Hey man, no problem. And again, totally love your stuff. Totally love your work. But I gotta flip that back on you, because you came to the table with a Canad inspired shot, man.
I did. Yep.
You think in our over a decade of doing this show, anyone else has ever brought us anything like that? I mean, I think about that quite often because I still haven't tasted it yet. Yeah. I'm a piss poor bartender, Frankie. So making this no, you're not. But so making this thing for myself might be challenging. It won't look nearly as good as when you made it, but You sent the recipe, and I do intend on making it someday. And when I do, I'll take pictures and send it to you. But
Please
Jesus,
do.
what a cool gesture. And actually, I'll clip right here in the post that Frankie did making that shot from his channel.
Dedicated to my friends of the Canned Air podcast, Randy and Jeremy, this is their signature shot called the CAP. We're starting with some vanilla vodka, some strawberry vodka, and then a splash of grenadine for red color. You can shake that if you want to, but you're going to need a nice tall shot glass. Fill it halfway with orgeat syrup, and then slowly pour in your mix over the back of a spoon to get that nice separation between the white and the red for the Canned Air podcast. I want to thank these guys so much for having me on. Randy and Jeremy are awesome people. Follow them on all the socials. Cheers, friends.
I'm gonna when you do decide to post the actual full podcast or whatever, I'm gonna repost the video for the drink.
Awesome.
So I'll repost that. I'll tag you guys in it, and then it'll pop up on both of our pages. So that way it'll get that out there. So yeah, I'm gonna repost it once I can either repost it the day that the episode goes live, or I can post it the day before or day after, whatever you want to do.
I'll let you be the judge, man. You're the social media master, not me. Fuck, I need to be taking lessons from you. So I will trust your opinion.
I'm definitely not a master. I've learned just by, like I said, I don't have a background in video editing. I don't have a background in any of the things that I do on there. I've learned just by doing. I've gotten some great advice from people, but I've just learned by doing. I've learned to edit by literally using TikTok and Instagram. I mean, I'm sure there's easier ways to do what I'm doing, but the way that I do things, like in terms of like the post-production and all that, I've just learned just as on-the-job training, just learning by doing.
Yeah. And I get that, man. And the thing is you've got great, engaging, fun content, but if you're not doing that consistently, that doesn't matter. That will get drowned out by the constant flow of people posting new stuff that just never stops. Yeah. It's you keeping yourself not only fresh, but on top of the pile every single day. Those two things together are just the best combination. I think we've got a good product. I can't imagine doing that. I need to imagine doing that. I should start thinking about it, but I'm so jealous of people who can do that, man. And look at what it's done for you. Look at the fruits of your labor. I mean, you've got a hell of a following. You have videos with millions of views. Jesus Christ. I get a video that gets like 200 views and I'm like shining my nails on my shirt.
And again, the videos that do well, I will analyze the shit out of them and be like, okay, what made this video so popular? I'll on Instagram, there's a video where I do 4 different variations of a Long Island iced tea, and I've posted that a few times now. The first time it got some good recognition. I got a few 100,000 views, which was fantastic. But once I got monetized on Instagram, I thought, why don't I post it again and see what happens? And I did, and that video now has over 16 million views.
Fuck!
Which is like insane to me. Like, I'm like, holy, like what? Who the hell is watching this? So, but it's trial by fire, just throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. Like there's stuff where I'm like, okay, this is going to be a great one. Love how this turned out. Love how I edited this, did that. And then it'll get, it'll just kind of peter out at like maybe a couple thousand views. And it's like, oh, it's a little disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. And then stuff that I literally just pulled out of my ass and posted will get way more views. And it's like, why?
Doesn't that suck?
Why is this one so?
Put such low effort in something to get it out there, and those are the ones that really do the best sometimes.
Yeah, and I've been in a slump on TikTok for quite a while. And when I was at, I went to Too Many Games in June of this year in Pennsylvania, and I was at a gas station. Now, Too Many Games is a huge video game convention, and I'm at a gas station, and I wish I remember the guy's name, but there was a guy who has one of the taxis from Crazy Taxi. He actually has a real life one, the exact same car.
Oh, I think I've seen that before.
He dresses up like the dude in the game with the green hair and the red like Hawaiian shirt. And he was leaving the gas station. People that were going to the convention, I just recorded him as he was driving away. And I just took I took the Offspring song "All I Want," which is in Crazy Taxi, as like the music, and that got like 400,000 views on TikTok, which I had not had much success on TikTok in probably close to like 6 or 8 months. I had a video that gone over a couple thousand views on TikTok, but that kind of got me back into getting some more popularity on that platform because I was focusing on Instagram because Instagram was getting a huger following. I was finding more success there. For whatever reason, my videos were just catching more fire on Instagram, so I focused more on that. But again, that video took me no time. I literally just filmed the car for 7 seconds, add the song, posted, and it was done. But
Right.
it's sometimes it's the stuff you don't think that will do well that will actually do great, and vice versa. And it's like with bartending as well. I mean, I've been bartending 15 years, and when you deal with the public so much, and you know when you're hitting it off with somebody, when you have chemistry, like the banter is good. You're telling a couple jokes, they're landing properly, like it's good chemistry, and then they leave you a shitty tip, and it's like, oh, like what did I do wrong? Like was it me? Like what I do wrong? And then there's other times where you'll be with a guest at the bar or whatever, and you just know that it's off. Like you'll tell a joke, it won't land. You'll find yourself either cutting them off like unintentionally, or just it's just something's off. And then you end up getting tipped 25-30%. It's like, how did I earn that? Like what did I do to deserve this great tip? So, and
Yeah.
just it's again, you have to throw. Sometimes you just gotta throw shit at the wall and just see what sticks. And that's the beauty of like having to put stuff out every day, is that you can put something out that is maybe not the quality you are super proud of, but sometimes that's what works.
Right.
I don't understand the science behind it. I wish I did, because I would do that every time. But and every so often a video I'll put a lot of effort into will get some good views. Like with the dumb questions videos have been catching a lot of fire. I've done 3 parts of that now, and they've all done pretty well. I said the first one's got almost 3 million views on Instagram. So
Shit.
it's just trying things and experimenting and seeing what happens.
Yeah. It's funny, even with not having as nearly many likes as you get on these platforms, definitely see that, because I know there's been times I've been cleaning and I'll find just like an old toy and I'll take a picture of it and be like, anyone remember this? That'll get a ton of attention. And
Yep.
then the cover art that I sat and perfected on Photoshop 3 hours on one night thinking, oh, this will catch their eye. Overlooked so quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I need to simplify. Think simple.
It's also but it's think simple, but also don't overthink it. It's like there's some things that just okay, this thing you posted, you thought it was going to do well, it didn't. But you know what? It's out there, and sometimes that shit catches on later on. So you might just share that video you posted it a month ago, and it gets very little views, but all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I'm proud of this. I really do like this. Let me try and like share it to my story so it'll be up there. And sometimes that's all you need to do. And people just miss it the first time for whatever reason, but they catch it when it's somehow reposted or like, shared. It's like, and then it starts catching fire. And sometimes that does happen. It's happened to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, now you mentioned a little bit ago about going to a convention where you were seeing the Crazy Taxi fella. You were just attending, or were you having like some kind of a display there, like a booth?
Just attending.
Just attending.
I haven't. I don't know if I would really even like. This is gonna sound kind of, self, beating, but I don't know if I deserve a booth there. Like, I mean, I like going to these conventions as a fan. I went there because it was the last time I went to too many games in 2021, and it was one of the best weekends of my entire life. I met some lifelong friends there. I got to see almost all of them this time around when I went. I got to meet like so many of my favorite content creators back then. I met James Rawl for the first time there. I actually got to film Rex Viper's first live performance, which is his band.
Wow.
I
Where
got
was
to
that
meet.
at?
That was in was it Oaks, Pennsylvania? Yeah, so it was too many games in 2021. It was the very first time James Rawls' band actually played live, and I actually got to help film that with Justin Silberman, like kind of like I befriended him like the day before. He asked if I wanted to use one of the cameras to shoot the show. I said absolutely. So
You
I got
filmed
to meet
the
him.
whole show?
I filmed the whole show. Yeah, I was me and like I think 4 or 5 other dudes that filmed it. So
Did you film it for them or just for yourselves? Because
no, I used one of their cameras to film their performance.
okay. That's
Yeah,
what I was going to say, because I was talking to him. He mentioned that was coming up, and I was like, I hope you guys are filming that. I want to see that show. And he was still up in the air about it. Now you're saying this, so they do have it filmed.
yeah, it's on YouTube. They put it on YouTube their first performance.
I missed that, man.
Yeah, they've played a bunch of shows since then, but I got to film their first one. I said I got to meet the entire band of Rex Viper, so I got to meet
How cool.
Adam Shoves became a good friend. Who's he's done some he does amazing like pixelated artwork, hand paints them. I bought a couple of his pieces and even did a personal one for me for one of my friends that passed away. I met my friends Jen that year, who's she does Space Babe cosplay. She dresses as a full power suit from Metroid, and she dressed up as Samus.
Wow.
She's got a few different suits she's worn for that, so she's become a great friend. And I've met so many great people from there. So I just go as a fan to just enjoy it. I mean, just to nerd out with my friends, and there's so much fun stuff to do there. The convention's gotten huge, but yeah, I'd love to be able to get invited to a con as a
special guest.
That'll be really cool. But that first time I went to, I met James Rolfe. I met Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Critic.
Oh yeah.
I met Pat the NES Punk. I met Scott the Woz that weekend. Who else did I meet?
You got them all, didn't you?
Yeah. I met Charles Martinet, who was the original voice of Mario.
Yep.
How was that for you?
That was cool to meet him. He was super sweet too. So, that was fun. The one year I wanted to go that I just couldn't. I was so mad I couldn't go. Was they were doing this thing with Metal Gear, and I'm a huge Metal Gear fan. So they had David Hayter, the voice of Snake, was there. Cam Clark was the voice of Liquid Snake, was there. He also did Leonardo in the Ninja Turtles cartoon back in the 80s.
I know.
I wanted to go to that one so bad, but I couldn't get the weekend off from work. I was like, oh. So. But I went this year. It was amazing. So got to see all my friends I saw the previous time I was there. Made some new ones. It was just nothing but positivity. It's my favorite con I've been to.
Sure, it sounds like a great time. Sounds better than most stuff that comes around here. Were you going to say something, Jack? Did I cut you off?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. So
Jeremy, you're based out of where? Ohio, is it?
We're in Columbus.
Yeah.
You're in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. Yep.
I've never been out there. So if there's some sort of con out there, maybe I'll get out there. I'm debating going to Magfest, and Magfest is in the Washington D.C. area. That's in I think it's in sometime in January. I'm debating on going to that. I've been debating on going to that for a while. They do a lot more with kind of like nerd rock and like video game music. So you'd see Metroid Metal would perform there, and Super Monster Party and things like that. So I'd love to see if I'm gonna look at the lineup and see if I can get down there in January.
That sounds great too. I guess that's kind of reason why I was asking, is because we just wrapped up doing a tour gaming convention, the Ohio Retro Gamer Convention, or Expo rather.
Yeah.
And thinking about you, I thought, man, it'd be so cool if he was there. But then it made me wonder, like, how would that work? Because you can't obviously just serve fucking cocktails and shots to con goers. I mean, it'd be awesome if you could. Maybe you could. I mean, maybe if you have to have a special license to do that. Jack, was that place you got your drink from selling alcohol?
No, it was only pop or soda.
So, I guess that's just why I asked, because you would fit right in at Torg.
I would love to do something like that. I mean, just you can't serve alcohol. That's easy enough. I mean, I could either just kind of like just sell merch, meet people, and and that's a great way to build your audience. Is that if someone like, okay, well, who are you? Like, and the person next to you is charging $20 for a picture, and you're charging $0. I'm like, well, I'm nobody, man. So just if you follow me, hope you enjoy my stuff. So
here's a free picture. Yeah. Get out there, shake some hands, kiss some babies. I get
that's
it, man.
Shake some babies, kiss some. I'm kidding.
However you get the job done, man, get it done.
Yeah, but yeah, that's organic growth right there. It's just meeting people, and just you build it one fan at a time. And so, and when I bartend, I don't always tell people about my social media stuff. Like if the conversation kind of gravitates toward that, I'll be like, hey, if you like what you saw here, check me out on social media. And
yeah.
So it's a way to kind of that's helpful there. Those people become actual real followers. It's not like some, it's not like we all get spam followers as your account gets bigger. So, but when you get those real, true, organic people who will actually engage with your content, that's important. I mean, and my friends have helped a lot with that. So I'll have friends like, I don't care if you just put like a smiley face emojis of comments. Like just anything you do is going to help engage and help the video get up there more. Um, it's just little stuff like that, you know. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything either. So, you know, you don't have to like, you know, buy something to support your friend who starts a business. Like just putting their name out there helps. And, you know, I've been very blessed. I've had a lot of friends who, since I started this whole, you know, content creation, who have been very, very good to me and helped me, you know, put things out there. My friend Tony has been a huge, huge supporter of mine since I started. There's a lot of other people who have done that as well, and it's just been I've been lucky with that.
Wow. Well, luck only goes so far, man. You look like you work your ass off, and I'm glad that you are seeing a return for that, because there's so many people that work their ass off but don't ever get a return. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And you know, I think I've taken some stuff from this conversation too. A lot to think about. You give a lot of good advice for social media, and you know, looking at your stuff, you can tell it's good advice because you have tons of followers and get millions of views. So
It's basically just be consistent. You know,
yeah,
just don't get if a video doesn't do what you want it to do, don't get discouraged by it. Just, you know, it's a
try again.
marathon. It's not a sprint. Like I didn't get, and again, I'm no expert. I mean, I'm not making millions of dollars on social media, not even close to that. So I mean, it's just been it took time to get some sort of progress. I still have a long way to go of what I want to do in terms of growth and in terms of I mean the goal long term would be that I would actually be able to do it full time and have full time income for it. I am nowhere near achieving that goal, but I mean it's something to shoot for. And like I said, this has been this past month was one of my better months on social media. I had a lot of videos that did very, very well on both Instagram and TikTok. So I've got no complaints right now.
Sure. Well, congrats again to you, man. I'm so happy to hear that you're growing and continuously building your brand. I'm excited to see where you are here in another year or two. It's going to be impressive. I
We'll
can already tell.
we'll do this a third time then. So
Hell yeah. And if you were ever in the area, let us know. And vice versa. If we're ever up that way, we'll definitely let you know, because it would be fun to sit back and have a beer with you, or just or try one of your shots. You know what I mean?
that'd be a blast. I mean, yeah. I mean, I bartend in a town called Gloucester, Massachusetts, which is about it's about like depending on traffic, it can be about an hour north of Boston. But the city's not. Like I said, it's only an hour from the city. So I went to PAX East this year as well. I didn't go to the actual convention of PAX East. I just went to the after party at the hotel bar that was across the street, and so
Mhm.
a bunch of my friends from those other conventions were in town. So I just hung out with them, and we just kind of shot the shit, and you know, it was awesome.
That's fun, man. Yeah, I look forward to that. It's going to happen one of these days. We will get together and chill. It'll be fun.
I've never been to
And
Columbus. I've never been to Ohio, so I mean, I'd love to go
Well,
out there sometime.
you're not missing a lot. I
Not
mean,
much, yeah.
it's
I can say
flat.
the same thing about Massachusetts. So
There's a lot of corn. There's no Boston. There's no Cheers.
that's okay.
There's no
I've actually
Sleepy
never been. I've
Hollow.
actually never been to Cheers. I've never been. I've never been in the bar of Cheers.
What? Really?
I've never been. Yeah, I have this thing where I stay away from tourist traps. It's like I know like you're going there because you're trying to either be in a place that was famous, like, and sometimes you let the quality of the product kind of like you give it a pass when you normally wouldn't. So I try to stay away from the tourist kind of trap places. So I want to go to that little dive bar hole in the wall that everybody raves about. So this is where the locals go. This is why we go here. Okay, I'll check that place out.
Yeah. Well, no matter where we go, I'm sure it'll be fun. It sounds like we're coming there, because that's already sounds way better than anything in Columbus.
That's totally fine with me. So
But yeah, it'll happen one of these days for sure. But until then, I invite people to check out Frankie, the Gaming Mixologist, on Instagram, TikTok, at the Gaming Mixologist. Do you have any kind of website? I mean, I know there's a web presence for you to order your shot glasses, but anything else?
the website I have is currently under development. I have to get in touch with my friend Andrew, who's designed the website. I have to get him some stuff to kind of like really officially launch it. But that's coming. If I can get it done, but if I can get that to him by the end of the year, that'd be the goal. But it'll probably be early next year at this rate. 'Cause I just get too much of the stuff going on right now. So if you're listening to this, Andrew, I'm sorry for the delay. It's totally my fault. So yeah, so the Shopify site is on my Instagram and TikTok. There's a link right under my name where you can get your shot glasses. I will have more merch coming in the new year. T-shirts, hats, things like that. So just looking for a partner to work with those things to kind of like, get a decent, price on what it would cost me to actually put it out there. Yeah, and every shot glass I sell has a little game Mixologist sticker in it too. So I don't know if that entices anybody or not. So
You can win anybody over with a free sticker, man.
Everyone loves stickers. Absolutely.
I love stickers.
Yeah, they do. You just won. Yes. Great decision. But Frankie, thanks again, man, so much for being here. Can't wait to do it again. Until then, though, Jack, what do we have on the website, sir?
Go to canadairpodcast.com where you can listen, like, follow, subscribe, become a patron, buy some merch, follow us on all our social media, and check out our YouTube podcast instead of listening to it. Maybe that'll be better.
That's always
Keep going.
better.
Don't let me deter you. Keep going.
No, that was it. Oh, and if you'd like to be a guest and promote your work, send us an email on our contacts page.
Yes. Jack was referring to the YouTube channel, which hopefully you're watching this. I mean, if you could be listening to it, one of our listeners who's never looked at the YouTube channel. So yeah, check us out on YouTube if you're not watching this already. And don't forget to find us on Twitter at CanadAirPod, on Instagram at Canned_air, and on TikTok at CanadAirPodcast. And at the website below, and the one Jack was just talking about, CanadAirPodcast.com, a few different ways you can support us. There's a merch tab where you can get Canad Air t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, stickers. What else, Jack? All kinds of stuff on there with our logo on it. And designs inspired by Joshua, or not inspired, but designed by Joshua Bellis. There's like a Star Wars themed Canad Air shirt, Ninja Turtles themed Canad Air shirt.
Nice.
All kinds of stuff on there. So check that out. And if you don't want t-shirts and like actual merchandise, if you just want more content, head over to our Patreon, which there's also a link for on there. You can just search Canad Air Podcast on Patreon, where there's a catalog over 4 years big, grow and keeps growing. That's some of my favorite stuff. I say it all the time, but I fucking mean it. That's where we go to let our hair down and let out juicy details about ourselves that we don't let the normies typically know.
Behind the scenes, yep.
Blackmail Canad Air Pod. That's what we'll call it. But other than that, big thanks to the network that supports us, Evergreen Podcast Network. We've been with them now, what, Jack? 3-4 years? Fuck, I think that's going on 4 years too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wow, it's been a while. It's a great podcast network. Again, we're proud to be a part of. So check them out. Check out some of the other shows on there after you've listened to about maybe 3 or 4 of ours, I'd say. I think that's a fair turnaround.
That's good. Yeah.
But
3 or 4 is fair.
yeah, I would say so. Maybe 5, but maybe I'm just getting greedy. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. So until next time, I am Jeremy Colley.
I'm Jack Doherty.
Frankie Francis, Game Mixologist. Cheers to you guys for watching. Cheers to Jeremy and Jack. Thank you so much.
Cheers to Frankie with my water bottle. I'm sorry. I wish I would have brought an alcoholic beverage, but I just don't have one. But which makes me kind of sad. I might have to go run out really quick, actually. Thanks for the reminder. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and be excellent to each other.